Hello everyone, I Jhalak Patel, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication welcomes you to the session of wireless communication. Today I am going to discuss about Unit 3, that is Mobile Radio Propagation, Small Scale Fading and Diversity, with topic Classification of Diversity Techniques. So let's start the session. First of all, types of diversity techniques are mainly classified into different categories that we have already discussed in the last lecture, that are space diversity, polarization diversity, time diversity, frequency diversity, directional diversity, path diversity and feedback diversity. Again, this space diversity is classified into different categories that are selective diversity, feedback diversity, maximum ratio combining MRC and equal gain combining EGC. So first of all, let's discuss about frequency diversity. It is implemented by transmitting same information on more than one carrier frequency. Means in this case the whole band is divided into the number of bands, means number of frequency channels, and because of that different copies will be creating the independent fading effect due to individual frequency band. Means one frequency band creates one number of fading, means number of fluctuations are there. Because of the more number of bands, it is created like this. In the figure you can see that frequency versus time graph is there. If you want to add some more band, then again you have to provide this much of delta F band gap in between them and add the number of bands. Here again this diversity technique, frequency diversity, is applicable on the receiver side because we want to increase the receiving capability of an antenna, or we can say that for any system we always want to achieve more performance at receiver side. Here only one antenna is needed. Because of that the resource wastage is not possible. That are generally in the case of FDMA it will happen. That we discuss in detail in the unit number 4, that how the resources are wasted in case of FDMA technique. So here this limitation of FDMA will be overcome because of only one antenna is needed in case of frequency diversity. Now let's take one another case, that is time diversity. Here in case of time diversity, instead of frequency, time period is divided into number of band. Number of band means we can here say that it is divided into number of time slots, and because of it repeatedly transmitting the information on each interval. Here the time interval should be equal to the coherence time, and because of that it depends on the frequency of it, because in the previous lecture we discussed that the coherence time is inversely proportional to delay spread, and delay spread again depends on the frequency. So if the coherence time is more, then we can say that it is fast fading channel. If coherence time is less, then we can say that it is a fast fading channel, and if coherence time is more, then we can say that it is slow fading channel. Next, if different copies are again created in the time diversity, because for each users the individual time slots are in use, and because of that again here different copies are created. Because of that reduction in efficiency is noted. Here the distribution is like this. Here you can say that instead of the frequency band that are present in case of frequency diversity, here in the time diversity it is divided into the slots that we have seen here. Here S of t here, then in between there will be a gap of delta t, and again S of t is created. So this is called as time diversity technique. Next is polarization and feedback diversity. So first we discuss about the polarization diversity. Mainly polarization is the time varying behavior of field strength. So because of the time varying behavior of electric field strength, there can be three types of polarization that will occur in a system. First one is a linear polarization. In this case what will happen is the two components are created, and two components are of equal magnitude and in a opposite phase. Here you can see that if this is a E1 and if this is E2, then for linear polarization it is necessary then magnitude of this E1 and E2 is equal, but you can say that this E1 is in upward direction and this E2 is in a downward direction. So we can say that E1 equal to E2 in terms of magnitude, but in case of direction we can say that E1 is equal to minus E2, means it is in opposite direction. So this is the case of first polarization. In case of circular polarization, what will happen is, in circle there is, if we take the amplitude from center to any point, then the amplitude from this to this is equal. So we can say that amplitude for any point is equal in case of circle, but the phase difference is 90 degree in case of circle. So in case of circular we can say that delta is equal to 90 degree and the magnitude is equal. So this is the case of circular polarization. Now let's take one another case, that is elliptical polarization. So in case of elliptical polarization, if we draw the major axis as horizontal, this is ellipse which has the major axis on horizontal. So in this case what will happen is, because of major axis on horizontal, you can note that this side has more amplitude compared to this side. So we can say that in this case magnitude is not equal, means E1 is not equal to E2 in case of elliptical polarization, but we can say that the phase difference, that is delta, is equal to 90 degree in case of elliptical polarization also. So these are the three types of polarization, and because of these three types of polarization, it increases the performance at the receiver side and provide the polarization diversity. Now let's see about feedback diversity. In case of feedback diversity, if you remember the case of open loop and closed loop system, then if you take the case of open loop system, then it is like this. First one input, then intermediate block, means process, and then simply the output is there, means in case of open loop system there is no feedback present. But if we take the case of the closed loop system, then it should be like this. Here some block is there. Here the role of this block is to reduce the error. So in this case, if error is created, then it is substituted from the input side, and we can say that here the error is reduces if we provide the feedback to the system. So due to this feedback mechanism at receiver side, again it provides the system strength and improves the performance. So this is the advantage of feedback diversity. Next is directional diversity. Received signal will arrive from different incident angle because of propagation, and if they are arrive from the different incident angle, we can say that there can be a reflection will occur at that side, or maybe diffraction will occur and scattering will occur because of the different incident angle. Or we can say that it also depends on the surface, that whether it is a plane surface or whether it is an obstructed surface. So these all factors affect the propagation of that wave, and if the propagation is affected, then this will occur reflection, diffraction and scattering, and because of that limited signal at base station is linked, means system performance will degrade, and at that time it is necessary to direct our system in a particular way. And to direct our system in a particular way, there should be some directional antennas added at the receiver side. This role of a directional antenna is to provide the base station to several links using the directional antennas, means it gives the specific or user defined pattern in a given direction, means if user wants to get the pattern in the z direction more, then by using this diversity user can get it. So this is the role of directional diversity. and it also depends on the number of obstacles. If the number of obstacles increases, then we have to add more number of antennas to achieve more directivity. Next is path diversity. So in case of path diversity, both direct as well as delayed signal components are combined together. If you remember the case of the multipath propagation or line of sight, then it is necessary to note down this figure. In between transmitter, here the first antenna is the transmitting antenna and second is our receiving antenna. So it is possible that there will be a clear line of sight distance between the transmitter to receiver if there is no obstacle present in between. So this will provide the LOS, means line of sight distance. But if there is some obstruction present in between the transmitter to receiver, then wave may go in this direction from transmitter to this obstacle and from this obstacle to receiver side. Okay, so here the two different paths are there, means we can say that this receiver capability also depends on which path it depends, means from which path the wave is coming to the receiver, whether it is comes from the clear line of sight or whether it goes with the multipath. So if it goes with the multipath, then the performance will degrade at a receiver side, or whether it comes from directly from transmitter side, then it does not reduces the performance. So in this case, if we want to improve this diversity, then we can use the rack receiver or adaptive equalizer. We discuss about this rack receiver in unit number 5, CDMA channels. In that case, we discuss about the role of this rack receiver as well as its block diagram. In this session, you have to simply remember that for path diversity, to gain better performance, we can use rack receiver and adaptive equalization. Role of adaptive equalization is it add the weighted factor to the system, means we can say that because of that adaptive equalization, system parameters, means whatever if error is created in that, so because of the weighted factor it can be reduced, because for different system there can be different error, and according to that error the system performance should again change that. So this is how we can get the better output. The advantage of path diversity is it does not need any extra power or extra bandwidth and extra space for it. Simply here transmitter and receiver, but it depends on the path. So that's why here no extra space is needed or no extra bandwidth is there. Diversity gain depends on the delay status only, means whether we have taken this path. If we take this path, then the delay is very less, but if we take this path, then the delay is more, and if delay is more, then it again affects the coherence time, and if coherence time is affected, then it depends on the fading mechanism, like slow fading and fast fading will occur. So this should taken into consideration for the path diversity about the delay status. It is also sensitive to Rayleigh fading conditions. So these are the path diversity technique. Now let's discuss about the space diversity. Space diversity is also called as an antenna diversity technique. Because of antenna diversity, we can say that it is affected with the what type of antenna is used at the receiver side. So first, the general block diagram of space diversity is that, like here the multiple n number of antennas are there, and because of the n number of antennas, it has the individual gain factor G1, G2 up to Gn. There will be some switching logic or demodulator that takes the more inputs from the more inputs and converted into the output. So in this case, this is a basic space diversity block diagram. Now by using this basic block diagram, we discuss about the different space diversity techniques. The first one is MRC. MRC means maximum ratio combining. in case of maximum ratio combining, here you can say that again the n number of antennas are there, but again the sum unit is there and demodulator is there, but here the change is, here the weighted factors are added, and because of this weighted factor, here you can see that it provides the feedback from this to this. If you see this last diagram, here there is no feedback present in the common space diversity block diagram, but in case of the MRC, it provides the feedback from the detector unit, and according to that feedback, if you note this arrow in all diagram, then according to feedback these factors will be changed. So each time if the error created is more, then again in the next time interval it will be reduced by changing this weighting factor. So this is the advantage of MRC over the general space diversity technique. If in the next session we discuss about the EGC and how EGC is different than the MRC technique. Also we will see about the selection combining technique, and then we see a quick revision of unit 3. So only 2 topics are left in this case. If you have any query up to this, you can ask me on my WhatsApp number. Thank you for watching.